Hi, welcome to Eyes on Books. Today, I'm with the co-host, Tom Nash, and we're going to be discussing a wonderful book that we read by Robert Dugani called The Extraordinary Life of Sam Hill.
Well, what the Sam? Well, there was always Sam Hill in my family, but
well, that's what his name was originally until the nuns called him the devil child, and because of his red eyes.
Right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Sam was born with as an albino, but there was two types of albinos, really. There's one where the eyes are very, very light blue with a white haze over it. Their hair is white, their skin is white. And then there's another type of albino, which Sam was, where he looked like a normal child, except for his red eyes.
Right.
And it made his life quite difficult.
It was a major theme in the whole book because as a child he was called Devil Boy.
By the nuns.
Well, yeah, and by his playmates and that sort of thing. And so one of the major themes is his mother's attempt always to have him have a normal life. The Catholic school wouldn't take him because of his red eyes, and she forced the issue and forced them to gave them all kinds of bad publicity, so they ended up having to take him. So.
Yeah, but the nun that took him really gave him the name Sam Hill and Devil Boy.
Right.
She made it a living hell for him. And
Right.
It was really sad because she had her own problems, which were discovered later on in life.
Yeah.
I don't want to give away too much of it.
Well.
But everybody stayed away from him. He had no friends in school until two other misfits came in.
Right.
And they played a very important part in his life.
That's right. Yeah, there was an African-American boy that formed an alliance, and he had somebody to play with then.
Right.
So that was a
Ernie
major
Cantwell.
theme.
Ernie Cantwell. And he was the only black African-American that was in the school.
Right.
And he hung out with him. And then later on, he had a girl that came into his life in elementary school.
Mickey.
That's right.
And,
right.
Yeah, so Mickey is another theme throughout his life. During much of his life, she was not a romantic interest particularly.
No.
He had other romantic interests, but she was a friend of the family, and it comes out that she had a terrible family life, and she depended on his family really to have some degree of normalcy in her life.
Especially Sam's mother, who was,
Yes.
It's the will of God and everything will be fine, and and you can talk to me, and that's what Mickey did all through her life.
So this relationship with Mickey is a continuing theme in his life. Another theme that we have very pervasive in this book is bullying.
Oh, yeah, terrible. It was very, very bad for him.
He was bullied because of his odd eyes, and one particular bully by the name of David Bateman beat him up quite badly, and that sort of became a continuing theme in the book as well as the matter of bullying.
Oh yeah, yeah, and David, or I thought it was Daniel, David or Daniel Bateman, his parents always defended his bullying, and his father encouraged it.
Yeah.
So there was no restraining him, and later on in the book you see, after he came out of the military, and went into the police force, how bad the bullying became.
That was the bully
That's right. It went through his whole life.
Was a policeman. Mm-hmm. It became a policeman. Yeah.
Right. And it was
continued his bullying ways, unfortunately.
Right. And that led to a very tragic ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can identify with somebody who's a victim of bullying because I lived in a pretty rough community when I was a child, and there were some pretty bad bullies. I had to ride the school bus, and the bullies would beat you up on the school bus. I was usually the smallest boy in the class, so that sort of
they picked on you.
That I got picked on. Yeah.
For your lunch or your lunch money.
Yeah. So it was a theme that I could
relate
in fact,
to.
A whole lot of themes in this book are. It's written first person.
Right.
From a man's point of view or a boy's point of view, and so it was easy for me to identify with a lot of it.
Right.
I like the book a lot.
I did too, even though it was a novel and it doesn't relate to Robert. The thing is that when he heard about this, there was a boy in Australia. This is the background that he heard about his red eyes.
Right.
And what he went through, and then he could only imagine what would be going on. But it actually seemed like that he went through it. That's the good part of his writing, that he was experiencing.
Well, he's a very skilled writer, and he knows all the tricks to get you one more chapter. The chapters are very short,
right?
And each chapter ends with something that makes you want to start the next chapter.
Right.
So it's definitely a page turner. It's a big book, but it's a page turner, and I think I read it in 2 days.
Yeah, that's right. Me too. It keeps your interest. It holds your interest, and it's almost like a whodunit. Type thing where you have to continue on. You don't want to put it down. Let's finish this off.
Now, this author is better known for writing mysteries. This is not a mystery.
No, but his way of writing is.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yes, he learned a lot from writing mysteries, I think, as to how to make a story continue. And so we take from the boy's birth all the way up to middle age, I guess, or maybe a little beyond. So it's a major slice of the characters told first person. So,
right.
It makes you feel like it's autobiographical.
It does. It really does. And he writes it with such sincerity. You almost feel the pain, some of the pain, and you feel the joy that he went through and he helped his friends with.
Right.
So now that we've discussed the book, we have the privilege of speaking with Robert Dugani and his way of thinking when he wrote this book.
I have some questions for you.
Okay, stay tuned.
Well, now we have the author, Robert Dugani, on the screen there, and so we get to chat a little bit with him and pick his brain as to where he came up with these ideas and why. So welcome, Robert.
Thank you for having me. Nice to be here.
And you're in Palm Springs, they tell me, so that's nice. Robert, you are primarily known as a writer of mysteries. You have, a dozen or so books that you have written, I think all mysteries, is that right, except for this one?
No, I really write in a number of different genres. I started off, I'm a lawyer by background. I started off writing legal thrillers. Then I moved over to police procedural mysteries with Tracy Crosswhite, which has done very well. But I wrote a series, Espionage, with Charles Jenkins. I have another legal series going right now with Kira Dugan. And then I write a lot of standalones, including The Extraordinary Life of Sam Hell. Just had a new historical novel come out 3 days ago called Hold Strong, which is a World War II novel. It was researched by 2 university professors, and we wrote it, and it's doing phenomenally well. So I've been very lucky to write in a number of different genres.
Well, this book really held my interest, and it was, to me, it was a fast read, and I enjoyed every minute of it. In fact, both Tom and I were discussing earlier that part of the book relates to each one of our lives, and I think when the people read this book, there are excerpts in here that would relate to their lives and what they've gone through too.
Since you wrote
So
it,
many people so many people were bullied growing up. I received emails all the time.
Oh, yes.
For people that could relate to it for that very reason.
Right.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, Tom was one of them, and because he's, as he said, he's a small person. He was
That's
always
right.
the shortest in the school, but
And therefore, prime target for the big bully in the class. So yeah, I could relate to that. I could relate to many things.
Yeah. Even the way they were
story.
trained in Catholic school,
Yeah.
you know, that was, the nuns were merciless.
Yeah.
It was something else. But what I really enjoyed about the book is his mother's devotion to him, and to have him try to be as normal as possible, and encouraged him in so many ways when he felt so down and out. And as he grew, he helped his 2 best friends along the way achieve their goal. And he didn't think of himself that much, especially with his friend Ernie. You know, writing articles so he could get a scholarship and going on to school and getting his fame. And he enjoyed the process. You could see that. He was an extraordinary person, and in the end, we're not supposed to give away too much of the book so people would be motivated. But at the end, I actually had tears in my eyes, and I knew what was going to happen once I realized he was devoting his time to the underprivileged. I realized what happened, and that gave me a very, very warm feeling of love and devotion to people and also to his field.
Right.
Yeah.
In a time when family values seem to be diminishing or diminished, it was helpful, I think, and healthy to read a book in which there's such devotion to family. He was devoted to his parents, and his parents to him, and that was warm and to read.
Now, when I have a question to ask you, when you wrote this book, I know you wrote it because you heard about a boy in Australia that had the red eyes. It almost seems like you put yourself in that boy's life, and you lived that life of that boy. So was there much background on his life, or did you depict the book as if it was you that was going through it and you did all of the creativity?
Well, I think every book is of the author. Sam is certainly not me. I don't have ocular albinism.
Right.
I really wasn't bullied when I was a kid. But I did go to Our Lady of Angels Grammar School. I call it Our Lady of Mercy. I was taught by nuns. Some were wonderful ladies. Some were very difficult. I was an altar boy. I went off to a Catholic high school. I'm not an optometrist like Sam. So, but every character that an author writes, I believe, is of that author. And it's going to be influenced by that author's background and what that author has done in his or her life. The mother in The Extraordinary Life of Sam Hell is very much like my mother. My mom was devoted to the Blessed Mother. I can remember her saying rosaries for everything, including and the father was very much like my father. My dad was a very practical man. he took life as it came. He didn't rock the boat, but he was very strong-willed. He was a very good businessman, but he accepted a lot of things that I think a lot of people, get worked up about, worry about. That was just not my dad. My mom was the warrior. My mom was the disciplinarian. And the other thing I'll say is, Sam's an only child. I have 9 siblings.
Oh my
Oh, wow.
gosh.
When the book came out, my brothers and sisters got a hold of me and they said, "What the hell? You killed all of us?" I'm like, "That was in the book." So Sam is not me, but he's definitely of me.
Yeah. Well, it's written in first person, of course, so it feels autobiographical as we read it, as it should.
Yes,
But that was
very
a
good.
nice touch, I thought.
Yeah, first person is much more personal, and that's exactly why I did it. I have another literary novel out there called The World Played Chess. It's also written in first person. It's a little more challenging for an author because every scene has to be in the protagonist's point of view. You can't, I don't like to switch scenes when I'm in first person. But it's very personal.
Well, I think this is a great book. I really do. It held my interest. If I can get through 3 chapters of a book and enjoy it, I'll read the book within 2 days. If it's like pulling teeth, and that's was my field, I just say, okay, I've had enough. This is too much. But this got right down into it, and I think I liked the way the book started with explaining, with you on the doctor's table, and you and the doctor, well, I'm saying you, Sam and the doctor, Sam and the doctor talking and asking questions, and then it relates back to his childhood. So you actually get the feel of why he wanted to go through the procedure that he wanted to go through, but yet he knew in his heart it wasn't the right thing to do at that time. So
Yeah, a lot of people. I've been really very humbled by the reactions I received over the years on Sam Hell. They've been incredibly humbling. I received emails from people that told me that they would gather around their brother's bed at night because he was dying of pancreatic cancer, and they would read to him from The Extraordinary Life of Sam Hell because it's a book about hope. It's a book about faith. People sometimes make the mistake. They think it's a Catholic book. It's about religion. It's really not. It's about faith and it's about hope, and those are universal truths. Whether you're Jewish or Muslim or Hindu or whatever your faith is, there's universal truths involved in that. So for me, it's been incredibly humbling to receive emails from people that, like I said, have been bullied, and this book has given them great comfort, that have had problems in whether it's their teeth or I had a priest email me, he had a wine stain on the side of his face. And, but when you write a novel, I think if an author's being honest, you don't know if it's going to have an impact on anybody. You hope it does. And so when something like this happens, it's very gratifying, but I'll say it's very humbling.
it's an excellent book that I highly recommend it to anybody, especially here in the village. You can go right to the library. You can download it on Kindle. You can download it on Libby Books, and it's a wonderful read. What do you think, Tom?
I really enjoyed it. Like you, I read it in 2 days. Found it difficult to put down. Part of it is just because of the writer's craft of figuring out how to end each chapter to make you want to read the next one, and you do that very well. And it cost me some sleep, but appreciate it.
But it is, and it flows so nicely. It really does.
Yeah, and lots of themes growing up. Kind of sexual coming of age thing. We see this boy from birth to midlife, I guess, and so goes through all the usual issues and problems that kids do, and so there's a whole lot to identify with. At least it was for me.
I was really intrigued with the fact how he went into his dad's pharmacy and turned it around. How the father was thinking he was going to lose it, and here comes Sam, and he turns everything around and does such a wonderful job. I thought he would stay with the pharmacy, but he sold it off to a big conglomerate. His mother was set, and he was, set, and he went and did what he wanted to do. Mm-hmm. A lot of people in life don't do that,
No, I think, the point, I think the point that I'm trying to make there is, even though Sam, has ocular albinism, he's a very bright young man. He's a very smart businessman. Mm-hmm. This is not, I have a brother who has Down syndrome. Uh-huh. My brother is very mentally challenged. But Sam is not, and that's sort of the point. Is there are a lot of people out there that are different, and it doesn't make them any less than the rest of us. Same exact bright young man. Mm-hmm.
Another continuing theme through the book is the faith, the kind of the wavering faith of Sam. With a strong Catholic mother, a father that doesn't seem to be particularly religious, but Sam's faith seems to be, in many cases, more a tribute to his mother than a personal relationship with the church.
Yeah, and, I think that's kind of what I was talking about earlier. Is there's a difference between religion and faith. I would say I'm a person of very strong faith. I happen to be Roman Catholic. That's how I was raised. Right. Do I agree with all of the tenets of the Catholic Church? I don't. Do I agree with everything that the Catholic Church, comes out and what they approve of and don't approve of? No, I don't necessarily. But it is a foundation that my faith is based upon. But my faith is based on the belief in a God, the belief in Jesus Christ. And, I've had, when the book was optioned for film, and it's been optioned a couple of times, the people optioning it one time was a Jewish woman. And she said to me, Bob, I'm Jewish, and this book was recommended to me by a producer who's Muslim. She said, this is not a Catholic book. This is a book about faith. Mm-hmm. In my life, my mother was this foundation of our faith. It was my mother that really gave us our faith, and I look at it now as a blessing, because I think we go through a lot of things in life that are very difficult, a lot of things in life that we can't explain. We can't say, why is this happening to me? And at some point we have to just give up and offer it up and say, okay, God, this is what you have in store for me. This is what your plan is. I don't know why this is the way it is, but I'm going to move forward, because otherwise, it becomes a very difficult thing in life to constantly be struggling with all the things that are happening and saying, why me? Why me? Mm-hmm. At some point, I think you have to just say, okay, there's a reason for this. There's a plan for this. I don't know exactly what it is, but
you walk that path. Mm-hmm.
Continuing characters throughout the book is Mickey, who enters his life as they're both young children. And tell us a little bit about your inspiration for Mickey and how she came to be.
Sure. I wish that I had grown up with a Mickey in my life, to be honest. I didn't. I was fairly shy as a young man. So, I had grammar school friends, but then I went to an all-boys high school, and there were a lot of good things about going to an all-boys high school, but there was a lot of things that were not great about it. And one of the things that was not great about it was you didn't have an opportunity to just get to know young women as your friend. Oh. Every time you were talking to a young woman, it was to ask her out or ask her to go to the prom or whatever it was. And I think there's a special relationship that exists between a young man and a young woman who are just friends. Mm-hmm. And in beginning of the book, Sam and Mickey are just very close friends. Sam will tell Mickey things that he would never tell any of his other friends, and vice versa. So for me, I always envisioned Mickey as Sam's conscience. She's always the one who says, Why are you going out with that woman? She's not good enough for you. Why are you doing the things that you're doing? You are allowing your handicap, to restrict what you do. You're feeling sorry for yourself. So she's very much throughout the book. And I just think that that's a wonderful friend to have.
Very interesting talking with you, and unfortunately we've come to the end of our time.
I know, I'm enjoying it too much.
We both give 2 thumbs up for The Extraordinary Life of Sam Hill, written by Robert Tugoni.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm glad we got all the technical glitches to work, and we got it up and out there. So thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And your other book about World War II was Strong what?
It's called Hold Strong.
Hold Strong?
It came out January 28th, and it's a phenomenal true story. It's based on fact. The researchers did 10 years of research on this book. We just got an AP review out today that is just fabulous, fantastic. So I think your readers will really, your listeners and viewers will really enjoy it.
I'm going to get the book. I'm going to go and download the book and see what it's like. Both my parents were in World War II, so I'm very interested in that time period. So I'm looking forward to reading it.
I've had some really interesting conversations already with people, including the mother of a good friend of mine who lost her father in Vietnam when she was 2 years old, and she never knew what happened to him. In this book, we found him, and we found out what happened to him. So that was really a lovely thing to do.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Well, thanks again. We've got to go.
Thank you. I appreciate your
Thank you
books,
very
and I
much.
appreciate the interview. Have a good week.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, bye now. I want to thank the author, Robert Tugoni, for his explanation of his wonderful book, The Extraordinary Life of Sam Hill. And I want to thank Tom Nash for being my co-host today and all the technical people that made this possible. So I hope you enjoyed the program, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you, and enjoy the day.